This would be so cool somewhere. I don't know, like to just hang for fun. But I don't know what I could do with my Cricut. This looks like it used to be like a window door, like it opened. It's so cool. Hey everyone, welcome back to Furniture Flipping Teacher. We are at a local salvage yard. This is not too far from our home, and one of our contractors recommended it because it has so many old parts of different houses from different times of decades, and inside there's just a tremendous amount of different things, and then even as you can see behind me, tons of things. So we came, we're gonna check it out. In the midst of all of the construction that we have been doing over at the house, I have been so itching to create some decorations, and of course I want to stick on the DIY train. So we're here at the salvage yard, and I am really looking for something that I can DIY and create, and I want to utilize my Cricut. And thanks to Cricut for sponsoring this video. Let's go take a look around. This is kind of neat, a little storage center, maybe for entertainment center, holding your VCR and stuff down here.
Did you just say VCR?
I just said VCR. I have no idea why I said VCR. DVD player or Chromecast or whatever you want to call
Books,
it.
magazines.
Books, magazines to go in here. This would be pretty neat. I'm loving the, still the era that this came from is still, it's old, it's vintage. It'll kind of match that aesthetic in our Airbnb area. Might be something to look at. These are some metal nightstand thingies. I bet they're not really nightstands, but metal locker things. So I'm thinking these drawers would be neat if they didn't have all these compartments. And then we could almost make it into like a sign, utilizing the Cricut with vinyl, making a couple of different sayings on these. Obviously these would have to go, but maybe there's some that don't have these on the inside and we could reuse that. That's pretty neat. Pretty cool, like decor, motivational sayings or something like that. Yeah, and Neiman just said maybe some like Omaha facts or, restaurants that we like to frequent or something like that. That'd be pretty neat. Or maybe like a coffee bar menu thing. I don't know if we could utilize this like for anything like this way to put something. I don't know. Comment below, what could we hang this on the wall and like put inside, or I don't know. Hey, yeah?
That's what I'm talking about.
We could even leave the handle on just cause, but smooth this out, take that off. And then the vinyl would be able to stick right there. I could even paint the inside like white, paint the outside to match the aesthetic of the whole Airbnb, but yet we're still reusing something old. This might be something that we need to get. We maybe could get like 5 or 6 of them, put them around the whole Airbnb. This one, I think we're gonna grab this one just in case. Maybe Neiman just had an idea, things of Omaha across the top, and then, like restaurants, bars, ice cream, something like that. Coffee shops, things to do. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 4 regular ones and then 1 with the 3 compartments. I think that gives us a pretty good start. I didn't know we were gonna find something so quick, but let's keep looking. Definitely need a good clean though. This would be so cool somewhere. I don't know, like to just hang for fun. But I don't know what I could do with my Cricut. This looks like it used to be like a window door, like it opened. It's so cool. This thing is massive. It's like giants went through this door or something. It's crazy big. Like, that's so tall. This must have went in the giant's house. So we got to talking to the owner and he said that the drawers are just $5 a piece. So I think we'll go ahead and grab them. So it's just $25 and we're gonna see what we can do to them. All right, let's get this project underway. I know I mentioned that we were gonna be using these for decorations in the Airbnb, but so much has happened since we actually grabbed these guys about 2 months ago now that we've decided that they'll look really good in our new home. So I am going to make some living room wall art out of these for us. So we need to get these cleaned up because if you can tell, they have been somewhere for a very long time and they're so dirty. So there is this really, really thin paper-like material that's covering the drawers, but it's peeling off. So I want to go ahead and peel it off, and underneath there is actual wood, and that's the surface that I want to utilize. So I gotta get all this off somehow. I might have to grab a scraper. I'm just gonna leave these out here in the sun to dry. I think they cleaned up really well and I'm excited about the different wood tones here as our background. In the meantime though, I'm gonna go ahead and head inside and start on my other project for the living room wall decor. All right, I got these 3 canvases at the thrift store the other day. If you haven't watched that video, be sure and go check it out. I'll link it down below in the description. They are 3 of the exact same artwork canvases, and I was looking for ones that I had thrifted because, you know, there's no reason to pay top dollar for a canvas when you can find just perfect ones at the thrift store. Each one of these was $6. So right there, I'm just at $18 so far in this project. And I have been seeing and eyeing this artwork that is done with spackling. So I have been really itching to try it out myself. And so I picked up some dry decks as well, some spackling. So the first step that I'm going to do is just simply cover a little skim coat over the top of the entire surface of these 3. So all I'm gonna do is take my putty knife and go over. It doesn't have to be in any specific direction. It's just to give a good first coat of coverage across it. Okay, got all 3 of them prepped. I'm kind of liking the design that just came when I was just really trying to cover it. I had some other ideas, but honestly, once it dries, I might see how it's looking. And we are going to have it dry outside. So in the meantime, we're gonna switch back to the other project. All right, so I'm gonna be painting the edges of this drawer that we're turning into a frame, the same color that I painted the media console in the living room, and it kind of also complements the blue wall. These aren't gonna be hanging on the blue wall, that's where the other art is going to be hanging, so I figured it's gonna be good to pull that color out over on the white wall some more. I'm just doing one coat. I like a little tiny bit of that wood popping through. So these are done. Now they've just gotta dry. Are we surprised? And then while they're drying, we're gonna head inside and we're going to set up the Cricut so that I can show you what actual artwork is gonna go inside here. I've got my whole setup here. We've got our Cricut Maker 3 that we're going to be actually cutting the material with. And then I've got my strong grip mat because the material that we're actually gonna be using is veneer, which it sounds crazy, but yes, the Cricut Maker 3 can cut through veneer. I've been really hoping to find a project that I can do and use veneer with on a furniture piece, but this is gonna have to do for now, and I hope that next time my brain can conjure up something that I can do with the veneer on furniture, but for now, it's going to go in our wall art. So I grabbed the maple veneer, and this is so crazy, you guys. I've never actually held just plain veneer, but it's kind of like paper, like really thick paper, but it's wood. And so you could stain this, you could do anything with it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull up my design space, and you guys, I've done the Cricut videos a lot and I've showed you how to utilize them. It's so awesome because you can go onto the design space and you can get tons of free images, but then also if you pay for the access, you have access to tons of different designs that then you can go ahead and cut. So right as I go ahead and open up my design space, it tells me that you guys can grab the all access for 30 days free trial, and then after that, if you want, it's $9.99 a month, which if you're using it pretty often, there's no reason not to do that. You could use your own designs that you create through Cricut, or you could utilize the vast selection that the design space has itself. Neiman and I are wanting some sort of plant-like, earthy feel to this room. We've already got a lot of plants going on, and so we thought it would be cool to do some leaves. And I was searching on Pinterest and I came across this design right here, and it is on Etsy, but it's $280. So I am going to be recreating this look a little bit different with my own twist, but I'm going to be searching the design space for these types of images. So I'm going to go ahead and type in leaves and see what pops up. On the top here, you'll find all of the images. You can just put view all, and then you can scroll. And again, there's so many different types of images, leaves, all different things like this. So I really like this one. So I'm gonna add that to my canvas. And since the veneer sheets are about 12 by 12, it'll fit right here on my mat. So I don't wanna make my leaf any larger than that. But since my frames are very large, I'm thinking of having 2 go in each one because I got 4 different veneer sheets. So I'm thinking maybe one like this and one like this. Of course, it cut out in the shape of my leaf here. So I'm just going to resize these. Now that I've got my leaf here on my mat, I need to go ahead and load up my Cricut Maker. But since I'm using veneer, I need to switch out the tip. And I've never done this before. It's a deep point blade because the veneer is much thicker than paper. That just goes to show you another thing with the Cricut that's just so simple and easy. I am going to now grab my mat and load up the veneer on here. The Cricut is also awesome because all you've got to do is Bluetooth connect your Cricut to your computer or your iPad or even your phone if you want to make your designs on there. They've got an app for that as well. It'll automatically sync my Cricut with my computer because I have done it before, and then it's just ready to go ahead and start cutting. I just want to make sure that Neiman likes this design, so let's show him what he thinks. All right, he gives us the thumbs up, so let's go ahead and click Make It, and we have a mat. All right, and then what I need to do is I need to go ahead and choose the material that I'm using. There's a ton of materials. I have really only toyed around with vinyl and paper. So if you are not sure where the material is, you can just type it in at the top and do a little search, and it comes up with natural wood veneer. And you just need to make sure that you do that so that the machine knows how deep to cut and things like that. That is why I also put in the deep point blade, which it tells me as well, load deep point blade in clamp B, which I have done. And now all I've got to do is load up my mat and click go. As I was doing the research when I wanted to do the veneer for the very first time, I came across the fact that it will actually go over the cut 4 times in order to get it cut all the way through the veneer. So that's how thick it is. I said it reminds me of paper, but it really is much thicker than actual paper. So it's on cut 1 of 4, and it's going to just do its thing. And then we will look and see if we want to have any other designs for the other pieces, for the other frame that I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do 2 leaves on one of the frames, and then we'll see about what other leaves I want to do on the other frame. You also want to be careful with the veneer not to have too intricate of cuts because it's wood after all, and you know, this blade isn't the most sharp blade, and it's not going to be able to get the most tiny cuts done maybe correctly. A lot of the times the vinyl is better or paper is better for those really intricate cuts. So that's why I tried to steer away from intricate and go with more of a simple looking leaf. I'm gonna carefully peel the scraps off. I think I'm gonna save this because you never know how much, you know, might be able to use this section of the veneer another time. I love this. You can also use the tools. This is a spatula that I can use to help me get under the veneer so that I don't rip it. Now we've got 2. I'm gonna go ahead and look for my second design. All right, I picked the next design. You're gonna have to wait until it's cut, until you see it. I am gonna actually do 4 of them, so they're gonna be a bit smaller for this next frame, 2 on each veneer sheet. So let's load it up and get her cutting. Two out of 4 done. I think that these look pretty neat. I think it'll be really good with 4 of them on that larger piece or the larger frame, kind of off-centered with each other. We're gonna cut the other 2 now. It's the next day. These frames are now dry, so it's time to assemble the images inside of the frame. So I am going to do 2 bigger leaves in one, and I think that they actually turned out to be a pretty good size in order for them to both fit really nicely inside of the frame. And I was contemplating staining this veneer because I truly wanted a walnut, but after looking at the back of this, I think the walnut would just be a bit too similar, so it would really blend in too much. So I'm just gonna be leaving the veneer as the maple, and I like how that pops a little bit, gives it a little bit more texture still as the wood. And so that's where I'm gonna be gluing those down. And I'm just gonna be using the Tight Bond glue here. So I don't wanna get too much, but it's gonna be very important that I put something heavy on the top of them so that they stick and that they don't start to bend up and curl. Because this veneer is so thin, it could have the potential to do that. So I can already see it's starting to curl up. This is exactly what I was talking about. That is why I'm going to just grab this guy. I'm gonna put it over top, and then I'm gonna lay some books on top of it so that it won't start to pop up. Hopefully that's heavy enough. On to the next one. Our little makeshift weights that we've got here between books, tools, paint, we got it covered. So these need to dry for a little while, but in the meantime, I'm gonna head back over to my other project. These are dry from yesterday, and there are still just a few areas that it's popping through the canvas where I just didn't quite get enough coverage. So what I'm gonna do is grab a little bit of a smaller putty knife and my spackling, and we're just gonna fill in those spots. All right, I think I've got it all patched up. So this pink is gonna dry, and we'll reassess one more time. While this is drying, we are going to create some frames to put these canvases in. So I got 4 of these 8-foot pine lattices, and they are just a bit wider than how thick the canvases are. So it's gonna be perfect for the framing. I just have to cut them to size so that they will all fit around it. So I'm gonna start out by cutting, I measured the tops, and they're all 15 inches. And then I did a little bit of addition for when I put the slats on the sides. So we're cutting about 15 and 5/8 inches right here off of this piece. Just got my jigsaw here that I'm gonna cut with as straight as I can. It's gonna go right like that. And then the other pieces will fit on the edges. That's perfect. Let's cut 5 more of these. Okay, all 6 done. Now I'm gonna measure for the sides. Looks like 35 inches, so I'm going to cut one at 35, and then we'll go from there. I'm just nervous. I don't wanna cut it too short. Maybe I'll do 36 and come down from there each time. So it ended up being 35. If you guys do this, the measurements would obviously be different. So that's why I'm not really harping on what exactly I'm cutting, because chances are your canvases wouldn't be the exact same size. But now I need 5 more of the sides, and then we'll get to staining. All 12 pieces are cut for the frames, so I want them to match the other wood tones in our living room area. So I am going to grab the Old Smoky gel stains from Lily Moon Paint, Tennessee Whiskey. I love using these because they're water-based and I don't have to worry about a huge mess to clean up. Also, the top coat's built right in, so one step and you're done. All you gotta do, squeeze it out onto whatever you're staining, take an applicator pad, rub it in, and it'll do the job right there for you. finished up with the staining. They'll probably be dry here in no time, and then we'll be able to go ahead and assemble them on, because I also think that the canvases are finally dry. This is coming together. I'm so excited. Let's go ahead inside and check out the final piece with the Cricut. We're ready for the final reveal. Get all of our weights off here. That's so cool. It's like wood design on a wood design, but I hope I didn't mess this one up because I glued paper to it. Woohoo! Perfect, and no curling. So let's hang these up. Done. We're up. I got a 20-pound command strip, and it's perfect. Perfect. They're done. Alrighty. We are going to go ahead and attach these pieces for the frame. But before we do so, I'm gonna go ahead and lay them out so that I just make sure one more time, double check that they are the right size and that everything fits together. Perfect. Okay. Now that I know this one all fits, I am going to use two methods of putting them on, which is going to be wood glue and then my brad nailer. Well, we're just going to end up doing wood glue because for some reason my brad nailer is acting out, and sometimes you just got to improvise. So we're going to put a little bit more glue on here. Back to the brad nailer. I changed them out to my bigger screw or nails that I had in there previously that I've always used, the 2-inch ones. I was trying to use the 3/8-inch ones or 5/8-inch ones, and for some reason they weren't working in my gun, so I'm just doing the longer ones. They'll stick out the back, but it's all right because it's the back, so no problem. We've got one done. Now I'll do the other two and we'll hang these guys up. So I got the middle one up. It's right in the middle of the wall. And now I've got to figure out how far apart we want them. I don't want them to be like super close, but also I don't want them to be super far. So thinking maybe 10 inches would be here. Let's get this living room cleaned up and we'll show you the final reveal. All right, and that's a wrap for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had an absolute blast turning these thrifted finds into new and refreshed artwork, and I especially enjoyed using my Cricut to help me do that. Now you know that whenever you're at the thrift store, you should definitely keep an eye out for different things that you can upcycle and reimagine them in your own home or something that you want to sell as something else. Tons of different ideas are out there. You've just got to find them or create them yourselves. Thank you again to Cricut for sponsoring this video. We absolutely love working with them and creating different new and fun, fresh things with my Cricut. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the flip side.